It's just 3 days to go for the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Good morning and welcome to the AM show. My name is Sweetie Abochi. This morning, we'll start by serving you the AM news. And then after that, we'll sit with our guests to review the newspapers. Dr. Kwame Asasanti, who usually joins us on Wednesday, will be joining us. And he's head for the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Muftan Abdullah comes next with AM Sports and then our big stories. Today, we are looking at persons with disabilities in this politically charged climate. I mean, we're counting down to the December polls. What are the expectations for them? Are there enough facilities at the various polling stations to aid them? We'll take a look at that and have a conversation on that front. Also, we'll be talking about some other stories on the AM show this morning. You want to stay with us from now till 10 a.m. and join us with your comments and your thoughts either across social media or at the tail end of the show when we open the phone lines. Please stay. We get into the AM news now. This is the AM News. Let's start now. The Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, that is CHAG, has condemned the Ayawaso West Wuogon Member of Parliament, Lydia Al-Hassan, who was captured in a viral video distributing food to security officials who waited in line to cast their vote on Monday. CHAG Commissioner Joseph Whittle welcomed the Office of the Special Prosecutor's decision to commence an investigation into the incident. Dr. Whittle said the incident was an act of voter inducement, which should not be tolerated heading into the December 7th polls.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, Chopbox Technology, a convenient service, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants (CIMA), and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants (AICPA), together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Youth Break Foundation, bridging the gaps for positive youth development. Syntex Tanks, Air Strong, Air Tough, Potential Real Estate, your trusted partner in real estate. Deluxe Paint, Paint Mu Champion.
We were not there, but we saw the media carried certain unsettling developments, particularly in Ayawaso West Wuogon, and it falls within the checklist that we use to monitor. And that is particularly, I'm not saying it is true. I know the Member of Parliament has denied it, but it's not right to treat as the legal term, to share food, to share money to anybody in the queue in preparation to vote, because it is tantamount to corruption and an integrity issue. So having seen that could happen even to security officials, we have always assumed that would not be the case. It never happened in the past, but this time around, it seems it has happened. So we will factor that into our next election.
Council of Elders of the National Democratic Congress, that is the NDC, is demanding the Electoral Commission show a high sense of responsibility ahead of Saturday's election, citing various occasions of inconsistency in the operations of the EC, including shortfall in the ballot papers for some regions and issues with serial numbers leading to burning of millions of ballot papers. Speaking in a press conference after the last council meeting of the Council of Elders, Chairman Alhaji Mahama Idrisu saying such inconsistencies show incompetence, which negatively affects perception and derails trust in the election management body.
We urge the Electoral Commission to set its act together if they are to ensure free, fair, and credible elections. it isn't easy for the public to accept its assurance for robust and frequent and transparent elections when day in and day out you hear and read of stories suggesting poor management on its part. The latest being the last-minute decision to reprint ballot papers for special voting in the western and eastern regions of Ghana. The mantra of the EC is that elections are won at the polling stations. While that is true, the EC must ensure the accuracy of the figures it totals and avoid what happened in the 2020 elections when percentages kept changing.
Meanwhile, the president says he is keen on seeing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia over as the next president of Ghana. According to the president, John Mahama's promise to transform Ghana's economy lacks basis, especially as his 24-hour economy proposal cannot be backed by his track record. Here's more.
The facts are there for all of us to look at. Nothing has happened to change the perception of this man. No policy, even the 24-hour policy that is being talked about. Up till now, we have not had any roadmap. Asked, what is it? Said, oh, the policy is in any event a voluntary one. What does that mean? When you have a voluntary policy by a government, what kind of a policy is that? Government makes policy, and the population is meant to take it as voluntary. Then it's not policy. Policy is one thing that binds all of us. But you have that. A record of failure on one side, and which was well recognized by the people of Ghana, and that is why in 2016 they refused to allow him a second term. Against an individual who has been number two in a government that has worked, that has delivered a considerable amount across all aspects of our national life, who is determined to build on that and add more, who is saying that he's in the position to give us the leadership that is required for our country in this fourth age of industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolution age, which is in fact strategically, geopolitically, the most important matter confronting us as a people at this time in our history. You have all your political allegiances and views, and that is as it should be. The diversity of political views, the diversity of political action is what some of us gave our lives to, making sure that we would have a Ghana where people could differ.
The National Commission for Civic Education has held a peace walk in Cape Coast to promote peace and unity ahead of the 2024 general elections. The exercise saw participants walking through some principal streets of the city, calling on residents to eschew violence and embrace peace. Central Regional Correspondent Erica Sante has more.
It was a colorful and spirited peace walk in Cape Coast as the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, in collaboration with traditional authorities and political stakeholders, took to the streets. Their message was simple: peace before, during, and after the 2024 polls. Mercy Asian is Acting Director, NCCE, Central Region.
NCCE, all that we are preaching is peace. It is for that reason that we invited all the political parties in the Central Region, particularly in Cape Coast here. We know that once we have a very successful and peaceful election, the peace and the victory goes for all Ghanaians. It's not going to go for NCCE, it's not going to go for any political party, but for all Ghanaians, every citizen in this country. So that's the main reason why NCCE, we are embarking on this exercise. We want victory. Victory and victory alone. peace and peace alone for Ghana and for the entire nation as a whole, for every single individual citizen in this country.
The event also had the full backing of the Ogua traditional area. Nana Benyin Amwa, representative of the Omahene, emphasized the importance of unity within the community.
As at now, I will say I've never seen any war within Ogua. I'm so happy about it. Just look at what happened during the Afeshe Festival. Everybody was each other's keeper. We were all moving freely. We had it very nicely. Whatever party we win, let's know ourselves as brothers and sisters. If your brother is celebrating, don't think you have lost. You can celebrate with your brother, just as we did during the Afeshe Festival. Let all of us be each other's keeper, and we will have peace in Ogua.
Isaac Menu, aspiring MP for Cape Coast South, underscored the importance of peace.
It is my wish that at the end of the election, that is after December 7th election, all of us will accept the results of the election so that we'll have our peace.
Youth and Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf has stated that the maze of jobs created by the NPP government showed that it's just not about promises, but practical and measurable results, which transforms the lives of the people. Speaking at the commissioning of the BK Adama Multi-Purpose Youth Center in Wa, he noted that over 10,000 youth has been trained on technical, vocational and solar panel installations and digital marketing. He said in partnership with the CCI Global, established a state-of-the-art call center, which trained 20,000 graduates in the country. Join us, Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
Construction of the multi-purpose youth resource centers in 10 regions of the country began in 2018 as part of the government's agenda to ensuring that all regions in the country have modern sporting facilities. Ashigbey Enterprise Limited was given the mandate and responsibility to construct the War Multi-Purpose Youth Resource Center, now renamed after former Defense Minister in the Second Republic and a lost son of War, Bukar Pegala Sundanga Adama. Managing Director of Ashigbey Enterprise Limited, Hadi Bin Sali, put his best foot forward to ensure that he completed the first phase of the project with distinction. He was later given additional responsibility to continue with the second phase of the project, which he meticulously executed. The project comprised of a standard football pitch, 6-lane athletic track, stands with a seating capacity of up to 5,000 spectators, entrepreneurship center, and information technology hub. It also has a restaurant, tennis, basket and volleyball courts, and a long jump track. Youth and Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf, before he commissioned the multi-million-dollar project, enumerated some projects embarked on by the government, which has created thousands of jobs for the people.
We have trained over 10,000 youth in technical, vocational skills, including solar panel installation, digital marketing, and recently, our partnership with CCI Global established a state-of-the-art call center and creating more than 20,000 jobs for graduates. These efforts demonstrate that the vision of His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his Vice President Dr. Bawumia is not just about promises, but practical and measurable results that transforms life.
The Youth and Sports Minister then used the opportunity to talk about some unparalleled feats that the government has struck in the last 8 years.
Before 2017, the assumption of office of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Ghana had only 3 astroturf in the entire country, the whole country. Today, as we speak, yesterday, I was in Zabzugu to commission additional astroturf. We have commissioned over 200 astroturf in Ghana. A world-class swimming pool at Botiman, athletics tracks at Legon and also Botiman, tennis courts, world-class tennis court at Botiman, multi-purpose dome in Botiman Sports Complex, and also the University of Ghana.
Turning to the BK Adamu Multi-Purpose Youth Resource Center, Mustafa Yusuf has this to say.
This facility will not only boost and host sports facilities, activities, but also serve as a resource center for skills development, leadership training, entrepreneurship, ensuring our youth are equipped to excel in all areas of life.
Our Power Civilian Minister Stephen Yakubu noted that youth development remains the cornerstone of the country's development agenda, explaining the reason why they are continuing investing on initiatives that create opportunities for the youth of the country.
The Upper West region has a rich reservoir of talented and enterprising young people. However, challenges such as unemployment, limited access to education, and inadequate skills development opportunities often hinder their progress. This center offers a platform to bridge these gaps by equipping our youth with the tools and resources they need to succeed.
Overlord of the Wala State, Navusedi Sedi Polipo IV, in a speech on his behalf by his spokesperson, Nakadir Ibrahim, was thanking the government for the project and the youth to make judicious use of the facility. For the people of Wa and the region at large, the magnificent edifice is an architectural and engineering marvel.
Away from our election headquarters, the Ghana Health Service says it's facing increasing lawsuits attributed to negligence and disregard for quality standards, raising urgent concerns about the state of healthcare delivery. To address these challenges, 19 safe care assessors have graduated from a rigorous training program, marking a significant step towards institutionalizing quality improvement practices in public healthcare facilities. Emmanuel Jivenu reports.
At the Safe Care Assessors graduation in Accra, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji, did not shy away from addressing the gravity of the situation.
Nowadays, as you are aware, we get sued. Ghanaians are smarter now. And all the suits are because we did not take our quality processes seriously. And now they are garnishing our accounts. They are charging, the judges are giving huge fines.
The Director General stressed the importance of institutionalizing safe care practices as a solution to improving service delivery across the health sector.
The vision of the Ghana Health Service and all of us here is to institutionalize the safe care system to make it a culture for the entire service. This way, service delivery will be inextricably linked to quality and safety. Every health workers will be empowered with a quality improvement and work improvement teams to continuously improve quality of care using data and evidence-based medicine.
The 19 assessors trained under Farm Access are tasked with championing safe care standards in healthcare facilities in 10 regions of the country. The initiative is part of a larger effort to address the alarming statistics shared by the CEO of Farm Access and founder of Safe Care, Dr. Nicole Speaker.
Make sure that you continue on that institutionalization journey, that I see the evidence right here today. Because quality improvement is key. I told you about the 5 million lives a year that we are losing. And yet quality improvement, very often, I see this in every part of the continent, tend to be donor programs instead of institutionalized government-owned programs.
With this milestone, stakeholders are optimistic about embedding quality and safety at the heart of healthcare delivery.
We acknowledge the rigor and intensity of the process we have undergone. It is with immense pride and joy we stand here, ready to contribute as certified assessors, facilitators, and mentors. We pledge to serve diligently in our respective roles, striving to enhance the quality of healthcare within Ghana Health Service as envisioned by our Director General.
Training of the 19 Safe Care Assessors marks a turning point for the Ghana Health Service as it seeks to embed quality and accountability into the fabric of its operations to prevent further legal battles and improve healthcare outcomes nationwide. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News.
In other stories, the Christian Health Association of Ghana has commissioned its state-of-the-art Safe Care Hub in Accra, marking a significant leap forward in ensuring safe, patient-centered healthcare for millions of Ghanaians. The new facility symbolizes CHAG's relentless commitment to patient-centered care, healthcare excellence, and innovation. Emmanuel Jivenu again.
It is a new chapter for healthcare in Ghana. The CHAG Safe Care Hub, a sanctuary of excellence, will serve as a center for training, research, and safe care delivery, addressing the needs of over 8 million people who rely on CHAG's network of facilities annually. Dr. Patrick Yeboah is the executive director of CHAG.
This facility is also an expression of our vowed commitment to ensure that we champion and foster safe care quality improvement program as an integral part of the entire CHAG portfolio.
The Director of Policy, Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation at the Ministry of Health, Emma Ofori-Ajiman, praises CHAG for setting a benchmark for quality health care. She emphasizes government's commitment to this mission.
Going forward in 2025, we have projected to invest 2.2 billion in CHAG.
Globally, 5 million people die each year due to poor quality care. CEO of PharmAccess, Dr. Nicole Speaker, highlights Ghana's leadership in addressing this challenge through the CHAG Safe Care initiative.
I think Ghana has been a leader on the continent in showing how you can make inclusive healthcare financing work. Can only work if it goes hand in hand with that quality of care. And I think that is really where the institutionalization and commitment of CHAG to take leadership and ownership and showing that quality of care really is possible, even in challenged environments.
The Auxiliary Bishop of Accra, Most Reverend John Kwabena Louis, says the Safe Care program is strengthening healthcare quality and safety within CHAG and the Catholic Health Services.
The Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference is naturally proud to be part of the safe care journey and commend all efforts at bringing health and healing to the greatest number of people in our country.
Chairman of the Christian Council, Right Reverend Dr. Hilliard Deladogbe, expresses confidence in the sustainability of the safe care journey.
This hub, we believe, will house dedicated staff who oversee quality improvements across CHAG facilities.
The chairman of the occasion, Dr. Anefi Asamoah, hails the initiative as a milestone for Ghana's healthcare sector.
I am so proud that today CHAG is taking concrete steps to institutionalize its safe care program.
For patients across Ghana, the CHAG Safe Care Hub is more than a building. It is a promise of a better outcome. By focusing on safety, dignity, and innovation, CHAG is transforming lives and ensuring that every patient receives the care they deserve. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Laboni.
Now, the Associates for Change, Director Leslie Castley-Hayford, has disclosed that over 40% of the over 250 million out-of-school children in Africa are found in West Africa. She said out of the 40% found in West Africa, 1.2 million of these children are found in Ghana, while the majority of the 1.2 million are found in the 5 regions of the north. Dr. Kesley Hayford disclosed this at the 30th anniversary launch of the School for Life in Tamale.
School for Life was established 30 years ago to address the barriers that kept children out of school, particularly in rural and deprived communities in northern Ghana, where access to educational opportunities were far and wide fields. Delivering a keynote address at the 30th anniversary launch, the guest speaker, Dr. Leslie Kesley Hayford, said data from School for Life and other stakeholders showed that the model being used by the School for Life was not only 1/3 of the cost of primary education, but they also saved government 4 to 5 years of early childhood or lower primary education.
School for Life's model, complementary basic, takes 1/3 the cost of 1 year of primary, but it saves governments in Africa 5 years, 4 years of schooling. From the beginning of KG to the end of P3, a School for Life can transition into P4 without having gone through KG. For African governments, on average, it's $200 per year to put a child through primary education in Ghana or Nigeria. School for Life is less than $60 for 1 unit cost.
The director for School for Life, Widao Saibu, said beyond the complementary basic education program, School for Life also focuses on areas such as teacher professional development, school governance, and management systems, among others.
School for Life also focuses our work on such areas as teacher professional development, school governance and management, system strengthening and accountability, as well as evidence-based advocacy and policy influencing. School for Life intervention also includes citizen-led social accountability processes to promote equitable access to quality basic education, which has benefited and continue to benefit tens of thousands of individuals and communities.
The executive director for the Ghana Developing Communities Association, Dr. Osman Al-Hassan, said there was the need to celebrate School for Life for their continuous impact they are making on the lives of children.
My pride and fulfillment stem from the fact that for the past 30 years, School for Life has existed and is delivering on the very mandate for which it was formed out of GDC. And that is to focus on providing access to education for marginalized children who will have missed out on education. This year also marks the 45th anniversary of the establishment of our Danish partners, the Ghana Friends, who played critical roles in the establishment of both GDCA and School for Life, and have continued to support us after this day.
Coming up next is Business Updates with Benjamin Akaku.
Welcome to Business Updates. Now, government is confident the completion of the 3rd review of the IMF program will accelerate economic growth. Minister of Finance Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam says improved macroeconomic indicators signify a robust economy. Speaking at the monthly economic press briefing, the Member of Parliament for Karaga constituency explained the country's growth trajectory was almost at pre-COVID-19 pandemic levels.
After successfully reaching staff-level agreement with the IMF on the 3rd review on 4th October 2024, the IMF Executive Board yesterday overwhelmingly approved the 3rd review of program implementation, given the strong performance Ghana exhibited towards program objectives and targets. The assessment of Ghana's performance by the fund shows that we've met all the 6 end June 2024 quantitative performance criteria and all 4 end June 2024 indicative targets. It is instructive to note that this is the first time Ghana has met all the indicative targets in a review. We've witnessed a strong and continued rebound in economic activity, with real GDP growth accelerating to 6.9% in Q2 of 2024, after 4.7% growth in Q1 of the year, and up from 3.8% in Q4 in 2023, last year. This was driven largely by robust performance in the industrial, the agricultural, and the ICT sectors.
Now, Ghana has taken a major step towards digitizing its border management systems. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has officially commissioned the e-gates at Terminal 3 of the Kotoka International Airport, streamlining the immigration process for travelers. There's more in this report.
Notably, the Ghana card was recognized by the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, which is headquartered in Montreal, Canada. It was recognized as a valid e-passport card. Since this recognition, Ghanaians have been able to travel to Ghana across 197 countries and accessing over 44,000 airports worldwide with just their Ghana card. So the European Union is advancing its digital travel credential initiative, enabling travelers to submit their credentials digitally in advance for faster clearance. Ghana has embraced these global advancements, integrating biometric verification and digital travel credential technologies into a single platform. This dual capability positions Ghana as a pioneer in intelligent border control.
And that's it for our business updates this morning. Handing over back to Sweetie Abochi.
Thank you, Ben, for bringing us business updates. You want to stay with us because the news review come up next.
Welcome back. This is the news review segment. And of course, I have my in-house guest, Mary Poppins, in her black and white. That's a lovely white dress.
Thank you, Ben.
I mean, the undersleeve before the black. Rocking it this morning.
Yes, possible.
As always. Well, before we get into our news review, let me tell you about CompuGhana's Cashback, which has been named the Prime Cashback season. And it's packed with goodies, incredible deals and exciting surprises, all for you. Now, this Prime Cashback, CompuGhana is bringing you exclusive discounts, prime savings, awesome surprises when you shop for products from any of their branches nationwide. You can find products from your favorite brands. Which is your favorite? Is it Samsung, LG, TCL, HP, Lenovo, Dell, Midea, NASCO, Tecno, Infinix, Itel, Huawei? All of those are available. So just visit any of the CompuGhana branches nationwide and enjoy exclusive discounts on all their products. CompuGhana has a wide range of IT-related products, from mobile phones, electronic products such as laptops, printers, desktops, tablets and televisions, to fridges, home theaters, air conditioners, gas cookers, and more. Now, what's more amazing is that this year's Prime Cashback with CompuGhana has got great prizes with instant gifts and cash prizes for your shopping experience. When you shop at CompuGhana this season, be on the lookout for the surprise team, answer a question correctly, and then you get to win instant cash and gifts. You deserve this opportunity too. Rush to CompuGhana now. The promo runs from now till December. Visit CompuGhana.com or call 0302 752 020 for more information.
Well, let me also tell you about Medicus Hospital. It's a modern healthcare facility built with your recovery in mind. Spacious wards built with your family in mind. A warm and caring pediatric unit built with your children in mind. And we've assembled some of the brightest minds in medicine, led by Dr. Yao Osafo, the drive-time doctor, to serve you. And we offer general medical services as well as specialist services in plastic surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, child health, urology, psychiatry, and eye care. Additionally, we offer a comprehensive medical diagnostic service encompassing endoscopy, medical laboratory services, x-rays, and scans. There is also a 24-hour pharmacy that ensures you will always receive efficacious, safe, and affordable medicines. But above all, we bring to you the most powerful medicine of all time, simple human kindness and empathy. And we take pride in holding ourselves to the highest attainable standards. Guess what? We accept all forms of payment, including from private health insurance companies. Where can you locate Medicus Hospital? At number 10 Kingshaw Street, near Ashigbey School Junction. Or you can simply call 0501-477-340 or reach us on social media at Medicus GH. Medicus Hospital, a place of healing. That brings us to the start of the AM review this morning. Dr. Kwame Asante joins us. He's the head for the Center of European Studies at the University of Ghana. Doc, welcome to the show.
Morning to Ben and our cherished viewers as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Doc. And there's a lot happening in the country this morning, so I'm curious to know what you will be sharing with us. So let's get into your take now.
Yes, there's a lot. I wish I'll have the whole day to discuss a lot of issues, but time will not. I'll touch on one. I want to look at the event that took place on the special voting, where people were giving food items, people were taking pictures. Somebody was apprehended for taking a picture of himself whilst voting. That is the ballot, taking a picture of the ballot and all that. We are talking about free and fair elections. By definition, when we say free and fair elections, we are talking about elections devoid of irregularities, such as what? Rigging, violence, and then the breach of the laws governing the electoral processes. So any of these put us into that realm, and it undermines what the election that we are talking about. We are not talking about any other election. There are different types of elections, but the one we have signed for as a state is what? Free and fair election. Election devoid of irregularities. So when you undertake any of such actions, it is irregular. You corrupt people through money, through gifts, through food. It's all part of what, corruption. And it's part of what? The inducement processes. We don't take kindly to that. The law, the representation of the people's law, that is the PNDC law 284. And if you look at the representation of the people's law, section 33, 34, make it what? Abundantly what? Clear that once you go on that route, you have crossed the line. There are sanctions. So I will urge people to stay away from that. The scenes that we saw, food being distributed, and security people coming in to take the food, and then other people in there. It was a sorry story. These are officers of the law for that matter.
Right.
They should be able to enforce the law rigidly, and they themselves were complicit in it. What is going to happen on the 7th? We hope and pray that we don't see that ugly spectacle.
Thank you
the
so
allegation
much,
against the MP that she was the one distributing food items, and he came back that he was not anywhere in the scene and all that. We saw the video and all that. And the good news is that the Office of Special Prosecutor is interested in the matter. We want to get to the finish line relative to this issue. Why am I saying this? Because time and again, when there are breaches about electoral processes and these things are reported, we don't see the finality of it. At the end of the day, after the election, they throw them away and nobody hears about this. So every time there are problems that confront us, when we are going for election, we are worried about it. Immediately after the election, we forget about them, only to such issues revisit us when we are going for another election. That's not good enough.
Let
us remember that we can be we can be lucky all the time. we should be able to do the right things if we want to save this democracy.
If we want to save this democracy, Ben, except you have some thoughts, I want to get into the Daily Graphic.
No, let's go.
Let's go, right. I mean, they're all election-related stories. I have the Daily Graphic, and on the front page, economy strong will benefit all, according to the finance minister. CHAG deploys 300 election observers. And on 3 days to the general election, zero tolerance for violence. Security Task Force sounds warning. And there's a photo here of Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare. Students Loan Trust opens application portal for 2024-2025 academic year. If you're interested, please do well to stay for the details. EC cautions media against declaring election results. This is very important. Let's get into the stories. I want to begin from zero tolerance for violence by the Security Task Force. The National Election Security Task Force, led by the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, has declared zero tolerance for machoism and the wearing of uniforms of security services by non-security personnel during the upcoming December 7th elections. And this was happening at a crunch meeting with political parties in Accra yesterday. On the economy, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam says the economy is strong and will benefit all. That story is on page 11 of the Daily Graphic, and I want to get into that. The Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, has stated that the economy is recovering strongly and faster on account of the structural reforms that have firmly been instituted. He said since the country signed on to the International Monetary Fund, that's the IMF, program in May last year, the government had been implementing key fiscal, monetary and real sector policies, as well as structural reforms to address the difficulties the economy faced in 2022, largely on the back of global shocks and as domestic vulnerabilities. I'll put a pin in that. I'll come to you, Doc, briefly. EC cautions media against declaring election results. The Electoral Commission has warned media houses to desist from declaring the results of the December 7 polls or risk being arrested and prosecuted for the offense. The Commission said the media might call or project the trend of the December 7 polls, but could not declare the results, insisting that only the EC reserve the right under the law to declare results of the elections. And the final story I want to do now, CHAG deploys 300 election observers. The Commissioner on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Dr. Joseph Whittle, now I think we brought you that story this morning in our AM News bulletin. The Commissioner has deployed 300 observers nationwide to monitor this year's elections on December 7th. The observers will be stationed at the various polling stations where the Commission has offices to monitor various issues bordering on the right to vote. These are the main stories I will do, but before I come to you, Doc, let me just run through some headlines. Use technology to enhance skills, improve society. We will finish uncompleted projects in the Ashanti region, Mahama assures Otumfo. And vote for Bawumia, verdict to improve country's conditions. The Electoral Commission's burden, this is an editorial, and so many other stories. Doc, your reflections.
Yes, I will look at the EC and then their caution to the media that they should not declare results. That is a right call. That is what the law says. The best the media can do is to call the election, but you cannot declare results. Yeah. So I want the media to take it seriously and abide by the rules of the game. But the EC should also extend the same information to political parties, where we have seen time and again that they come out and also declare themselves as winners. It started off from the late Obete-Bidlante's time, and this thing continues up to today. They should stop that. We are not going to countenance that at all in this election. And because we are serious about this democracy, I am particularly worried because there are threats against our democracy from the sub-region we find ourselves. So we should do everything possible to protect this democracy.
Right.
Then the two. My second point is what? The Security Task Force, Election Security Task Force, and zero tolerance for violence. I support them in that call. That let us all make sure that we have the right, with the Constitution, what gives to us, that we can exercise our franchise, exercise in peace, without any violence at all. There is no point going to a place with a cutlass or a club. It doesn't make sense to anybody. please, anybody who crosses the line, let the security be firm and deal with that person. But we also want to tell the security that the shooting that took place in Techiman, we don't want a repeat of that, where we lost 8 people and as if nothing has happened. It's a blot on our democracy, and we don't want a repeat of that. We will support the security to do the right thing, but we also want them to take note of that let them use the law, nothing but the law, to address these issues. And the third issue is the economy is recovering.
Yeah.
Good news, because when the economy is healthy, it robs off every sector of the Ghanaian society, and we are better off. But I ask myself, if you see the joy and the smiles in the faces of the finance minister and those managing the economy, that we are doing this, we are doing this. If you look at it, anytime IMF comes in, you see our people being serious and they go by the rules of the game. Why? On our own, we mismanage the economy. And then IMF comes in and we are saying that they say do this because they will not allow mismanagement. They will ensure strict discipline. Why can't we on our own ensure that so that we don't go to IMF? Food for thought for Ghanaian managers of the economy. Then CHAG and their observers.
Yeah.
Good thing. We want more of such institutions to be able to be part of the system of the electoral processes so that it enhances the election credibility and then gives people hope that we have a system that can stand the test of time. And remember that when they do all these things, they write reports and that go to what define the country. So I'll urge our people that we should not do anything that will undermine the fortunes of this country, because when observers go around and they pick things that are negative, of course they report all the positive things, but the negative things too, they report them. They become somewhat blot on our democratic credentials. This democracy means a lot to us, and it is the only game in town.
All right, Doc. Let me just read out these headlines. Government upgrades nationalism pack to boost tourism. And like I said earlier, Student Loans Trust opens application portal for 2024-2025 academic year. It said students in institutions which reopened in September, October could go ahead and apply. And that application who had secured their admission letters but were finding it difficult to raise funds to take a place in the institutions could also apply for the Student Loan and Trust Fund to pay on their behalf. Ben, let's get into your paper now.
Well, I'll start with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. December 7 polls, Election Security Task Force talks tough, declares zero tolerance for machoism, uniformed non-state security personnel on election day, and established sovereign legal system to prevent ICC intervention, AG to African nations. There's also economy remains on strong positive trajectory. That's the finance minister. And then EC clears journalists with accreditation to access constituency, regional and collation centers. On the back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, KIA passengers to use e-gate by year ending. That's according to the Veep. Eco3 concept unveils 7-year project to project Volta Lake. So let me get into the stories now. I'll start with the one on page 10 before I go to page 12 and maybe page 13. All right, so we already know that CHAG has slammed the Ayawaso West Wuogon MP for distributing food to voters. That story is on page 9. And Doc, you were talking about the 8 in Techiman, but not all 8 were in Techiman. I mean, there were some who lost their lives in the last election who were actually from right here in the Greater Accra region. But TUC, others call for peaceful elections. That's also one worthy of mention. Now, journalists issued with the Electoral Commission's photo accreditation cards can access the constituency and regional collation centers this Saturday for the December 7 presidential and parliamentary election, the EC has announced. Now, following internal discussions and consultations with key media personalities, the Electoral Commission is pleased to announce, that's the Commission speaking, to the media and to the general public that media persons assigned photo accreditation to cover polling stations will be able to use the same accreditation to cover constituency and regional collation centers. A statement issued by the electoral body said in Accra. Of course, initially there were some issues with the number of people who had been granted accreditation, but now I guess there's a resolution to that matter. Then there's page 12, the finance minister, something we did today in the news. Economy remains on strong positive trajectory. Now, the country is expected to receive before the end of the week the fourth tranche of $360 million from the IMF under the extended credit facility with the fund. This follows Ghana's successful completion and the approval of the IMF Executive Board of the third review of the 36 months, that is the $3 billion ECF with the IMF to ensure macroeconomic stability. And this, of course, was put forward by the finance minister. It's a good thing that we are making some progress, but it's also laughable for me sometimes how we celebrate the very basics. We get crumbs and we celebrate. I always say that we have no business being here as an economy. And I don't want to cite certain examples, but Argentina comes to mind today. An article that was shared with me. And when I read what within a few months, just about a year, has happened versus what we tout in this country, then it makes you wonder how long it will take us to catch up with some other countries. And I'm not talking about a country that is somewhere in the West. I'm talking about, you know, when it comes to poverty and other dynamics, usually there are some comparabilities, though Africa is, you know, we have a peculiar problem. There are some comparabilities with Latin America and the Caribbean. So I'm talking about that side of town, not the West, okay? There's also this story, established sovereign legal system to prevent ICC intervention, that is the AG to African nations. But let me just do this final one, and then I'll come to you, Doc. The National Election Security Task Force, led by the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akuffo-Dampare, has declared zero tolerance for the phenomenon of machoism and the wearing of uniform by non-security personnel during the upcoming December 7 general elections. I think there was one who was caught in the last special voting. This was communicated to the political parties during a meeting on Tuesday, December 3, 2024, between the task force and political party leaders at the police headquarters to address outstanding security concerns after their earlier engagement on November 21, 2024. It goes on to mention other measures that are being taken to ensure peace prevails and sanity also prevails. Quick reflections, Doc?
Yeah, I'll start with the EC and the media accreditation. I am happy that they've made a U-turn. That is how it ought to be, because the policy they were bringing out was nothing but a bogus one. They found the need to change it, fine. But next time, they should reflect upon this and then involve stakeholders. If you read good governance, the concept of good governance very well, you come across what? Stakeholder participation. The essence of that is that if you involve stakeholders in any important issue, they discuss and arrive at a decision, they own that decision so that anytime that decision comes under attack, they are there to defend. And that is how we govern any civilized society. So I think they will take note of that. Then the issue of TUC and calling for free and fair elections is a good call. But we always want such institutions to begin to talk when things get out of hand or when we are seeing certain negative things rearing their ugly heads in the electoral process. You don't wait till the last time. I'm not saying that they waited for the last time, but there are other allied institutions. They will just sit down last minute and then they call for peace and all that. We all want peace, but let us prepare the grounds well so that not the 11th hour. Then you come and ask for peace and all that. Let us build that process, peace building initiatives, so that when we get there, it's easy for us to achieve that. But I believe that the good people of this country will ensure that there is peace before, during, and after elections. We need peace. Once we destroy this country, there's no other entity called Ghana for us, and we are not ready to destroy our nation. The issue of the Ministry of Finance talking about improvement in economy and all that, I've touched on it, but I'll add more. And that, as Ben, you rightly said, we don't need to be here. If you look at how we manage our finances and all that, I'm not an economist, but a simple mathematics of it tells me that, look, we can do better. Recently, I was hosting a program and I brought a professor of mining to the program and I asked him, what are the benefits of having small-scale mining and all that? He told us that just within a quarter of this year, we've been able to rake in about $2.2 billion. Can you imagine? We are in IMF for crumbs, $3 billion. Meanwhile, the mining sector, if we manage it very well, you can imagine, just a quarter, employing about 1 million people. What are we talking about in this country? Are we serious as a society? But what I have realized is that our political elites, they know all these things, but the wrong things that you do, they benefit from it. So they always go on that trajectory. We, as a society, should be able to what? Open our eyes clearly. And then those people who cannot manage affairs of our society, we kick them out of politics and maintain those who can what? Do the stuff for us. It's a very simple matter. There was a story, you touch on it briefly, but it's so dear to my heart. The ICC issue, and then I think Attorney General was saying something that if we could do something, we'll prevent the ICC from interfering in our affairs and all that. Yes, if there's something we need to do, we have to do that. Otherwise, they will come in. Because sometimes you realize that you are faced with a situation that the state is not ready to do the needful and all that. You need a bigger force to come in and then deal with that situation. Even though I know that some of these things run counter to the sovereignty of the state. But I tell you, sovereignty is a theoretical construct. It doesn't exist anywhere. Your military might, economic might, and other factors define how sovereign you are. So if we want to play the game, we have to know the rules of the game and abide by them at all times. Then the IGP and the machoism in Ghanaian politics. Beautiful observation and all that. I have observed over the years that the problems that we have, each election comes out with its own problem. We deal with it, and then by the time we end the election, we have introduced another layer of problem into our society. So we solve one and create another one in that fashion. So every time there is something to deal with and all that, we as a society, we have glossed over this, or maybe I would say that we have not even seen that there's this problem. But if we are a serious society and we want to save our democracy, we'll be mindful and be able to look at the political terrain and see what goes wrong. Anything that goes wrong, we need to fix it, and fix it now.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Just some headlines because we have to go. The New Republic says the chickens are coming home to roost. He's weak like a sloth. Oh, Bawumia's trusted girl turns against him, starting a campaign. Oh, I remember watching that lady, or being also her name is, and she says that from experience of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not fit to run the country. That's her opinion. Mahama maintains lead in final days, and woman petitioned to Akufo-Addo to remove appeal court judge for alleged misconduct. There's just one story here. Parliament has time to pass budget, Professor Gachi saying. The Dean of the School of Business at the University of Cape Coast, Professor John Gachi, has dismissed concerns that the delay in passing the budget for the first quarter of 2025 will disrupt the government's operations. And the economists explain that such issues are not critical at this point, as there is still ample time for Parliament to reconvene after the December 7th elections. And just to chip in that what's happened in South Korea yesterday was actually beautiful to see. I think the president declared martial law, and within hours, the lawmakers had blocked it, and it was reversed, and now they're calling for his impeachment. I think we should get to that point where our lawmakers and our leaders can actually do something like that. Doc, Benjamin, if you have any other stories, we have to go.
Well, then I would get into the Daily Guide newspaper. Bawumia commissions e-gates at Kotoka. African countries need robust legal system. That's according to Godfrey Diabo-Adame. December 7 polls, macho men will be arrested, basically regurgitating the stories in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. IMF approves $360 million for Ghana, and voting NDC will kill free SHS. That's according to Collins Owusu-Amankwa. And of course, I guess we should start referring to some of these as, I don't know whether it's disinformation, because when you've heard someone say something and correct it a number of times and you still insist on it, then it is no longer misinformation, it is disinformation, because you know exactly what you are saying and that it is not what the person is saying. Yesterday, Brace on Top Story found himself saying A about 4 times because the gentleman was vehemently denying a video that we'd all seen. Which gentleman was this? He speaks for Lydia Sarah Malhassan. And
He said there is no video anywhere on the internet.
Wow.
We see the woman actually sharing food for people in a queue. And now he was emphasizing on in a queue. Just on the lighter side, man. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, we can leave those. What I found interesting was when she was called on another platform. Yeah. Apparently, the video hadn't made the rounds yet, so people hadn't seen it. And it is what it is.
Now people have.
No, I mean, at the time this entity had called her, our video, we had that video. It hadn't started making the rounds. And then, you know, it started and people were putting them side by side. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if what I have seen, some may say that, oh, she was standing there, she drank water, then she interacted with some of them and all that. But the people who were, the people who were sharing the food, on whose behalf were they sharing the food? Because she said that in the first instance, she wasn't even there at the time. But Nigeria seeks South Africa's help to join G20 and BRICS. China heads out at U.S. effort to block access to chip technology. India, several dead as cyclone Fengal brings heavy rainfall. We should thank God that some of these, the typhoons and some of these other, you know, force majeure situations don't occur in our part of the world. I don't know how we would have dealt with, you know, typhoons and cyclones and the rest with the way we do things and the way we run our NADMO. South Korean president declares martial law and court upholds death sentence for tycoon in $12 billion fraud case. This is monumental. It's unprecedented in Vietnam. And they've told her that if she can produce 3/4 of the sum of money, they will commute the death sentence to a life sentence. Yeah. But 3/4 of that would be $9 billion. Can you imagine? Bank fraud up to $12 billion. I started following this story a long time ago, and it's very interesting. But those are the stories, headlines, basically, I'll do from the Daily Guide newspaper. And that's it for me.
Let's give you the final word then.
Yes, I think I'll look at the issue of disinformation. What Ben was talking about proper. We have moved away from the realms of misinformation. It's deliberate effort to deceive people by churning out false news. And these are things that are aberrations that affect free and fair election. Because if you look at the indices for free and fair election, one aspect of it is voter information. The voter is required to have genuine and true information so that he can make informed choice based on that. So if there is somebody within the political space giving false information, that person is an enemy to the open society, and the law must deal with that person.
Dr. Kwame Asasante, the head Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Thank you for your time. Right, you want to stay with us? Sports is coming up next with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Please stay.
Time now to bring you sports here on the AM show with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, has commissioned the Wa Youth Resource Center, which has been rechristened the BK Adama Youth Resource Center. According to him, this facility will serve as the hub for the production of talents and also for the development of the youth in the area.
Construction of the multi-youth resource centers in 10 regions of the country began in 2018 as part of the government's agenda to ensuring that all regions in the country have modern sporting facilities. Ashigbey Enterprise Limited was given the mandate and responsibility to construct the War Multipurpose Youth Resource Center, now renamed after former defense minister in the Second Republic and a lost son of War, Bukar Kwegala Sundanga Adama. Managing Director of Ashigbey Enterprise Limited, Hadi Bin Sali, put his best foot forward to ensure that he completed the first phase of the project with distinction. He was later given additional responsibility to continue with the second phase of the project, which he meticulously executed. The project comprised of a standard football pitch, 6-lane athletic track, stands, with a seating capacity of up to 5,000 spectators, entrepreneurship center, and information technology hub. It also has a restaurant, tennis, basket and volleyball courts, and a long jump track. Youth and Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf, before he commissioned the multi-million-dollar project, enumerated some projects embarked on by the government, which has created thousands of jobs for the people.
We have trained over 10,000 youth in technical, vocational skills, including solar panel installation, digital marketing, and recently, our partnership with CCI Global established a state-of-the-art call center and creating more than 20,000 jobs for graduates. These efforts demonstrate that the vision of His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his Vice President Dr. Bawumia is not just about promises, but practical and measurable results that transforms life.
The Youth and Sports Minister then used the opportunity to talk about some unparalleled feats that the government has struck in the last 8 years.
Before 2017, the assumption of office of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Ghana had only 3 astroturf in the entire country, the whole country. Today, as we speak, yesterday, I was in Zabzugu to commission additional astroturf. We have commissioned over 200 astroturf in Ghana. A world-class swimming pool at Botiman, athletics tracks at Legon and also Botiman, tennis courts, world-class tennis court at Botiman, multi-purpose dome in Botiman Sports Complex, and also the University of Ghana.
Turning to the BK Adamu Multi-Purpose Youth Resource Center, Mustafa Yusuf has this to say.
This facility will not only boost and host sports facilities, activities, but also serve as a resource center for skills development, leadership training, entrepreneurship, ensuring our youth are equipped to excel in all areas of life.
Our Power Minister Stephen Yakubu noted that youth development remains the cornerstone of the country's development agenda, explaining the reason why they are continuing investing on initiatives that create opportunities for the youth of the country.
The Upper West region has a rich reservoir of talented and enterprising young people. However, challenges such as unemployment, limited access to education, and inadequate skills development opportunities often hinder their progress. This center offers a platform to bridge these gaps by equipping our youth with the tools and resources they need to succeed.
Overlord of the Wala State, Nafusidi Sidi Polipo IV, in a speech on his behalf by his spokesperson, Nakadir Ibrahim, was thanking the government for the project and the youth to make judicious use of the facility. For the people of Wa and the region at large, the magnificent edifice is an architectural and engineering marvel conjured, which for years will change not only the complexion of sports in the municipality, but the lives of the people as well. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wa.
From Wa, let's go to the Accra Sports Stadium, where the Ghana Powerlifting Federation and the Ghana Paralympic Committee came together to celebrate World Disability Day. It was a moment to celebrate the athletes who have flown high the flag of Ghana in many international competitions. And my colleague, Elon Benai Dafiamakbo, was there and has details in this report.
Over 30 junior wheelchair tennis players across the country gathered for a special training camp at the Accra Sports Stadium tennis court. Supported by the International Tennis Federation, the camp introduced children between the ages of 10 to 18 to wheelchair tennis and also nurtured their skills. National and regional coaches led the sessions, with the Ghana Wheelchair Tennis Federation National Coordinator Henry Labi describing the initiative as vital for developing the next generation of international wheelchair tennis players.
Wheelchair tennis started in 2013, and we have a strategic plan that we introduce wheelchair tennis in mostly all the regions in Ghana. Currently, we are in the Western region, Central region, Greater Accra, Volta region, Eastern region, Ashanti region, and even the Brown Hafo, when it was Brown Hafo, and we even went to Tamale. So therefore, it is about 70% covered. And we have coaches which we trained, and these same coaches have brought the kids from their region to Accra here. They only brought a few of them. So therefore, we are going to go back again to their regions and expand on this project we have started here in Accra. But at least a year or two to come, we should have a lot of junior players who then become international players. Because currently we only have, I'll say, 9 professional players in wheelchair tennis from Ghana who are playing at international levels, but some of them are aging. So we need to make sure we have a crop of younger wheelchair tennis players who can be groomed well to become international players and represent Ghana in international tournaments.
Meanwhile, the National Para-Powerlifting Competition, held in collaboration with the National Paralympic Committee, showcased the strength of over 50 para-athletes from 5 regions, including Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale. According to member of the Para-Powerlifting Association, Ignatius Elite, the purpose of the event is to rank athletes for future competitions and identify new talents to represent Ghana on the global stage.
Over the years, we have limited athletes, and therefore when it comes to selection of athletes for international events, it becomes a challenge. And therefore, the association think that it's high time we organize such a national event and give opportunity to all the athletes that we have at our disposal. Therefore, today's event is to, first and foremost, identify our potential athletes that will be trained and then prepared for international event, rank them in order of merit, so that when next year we have opportunity to present athletes for international event to represent the nation, we'll be able to pick the best out of the lot that we have.
Let's bring you highlights of matches that were played in the English Premier League in midweek. Mohamed Kudus made a return for West Ham United in a size 3-1 loss to Leicester City. That was Ruben Amorim's first, Ruud van Nistelrooy's first game in charge of Leicester City. And also, Ipswich Town, they suffered a 1-0 loss against Crystal Palace. Now let's wrap up with some highlights from La Liga. Rafinha, he's scored twice for Barcelona as they secured a victory and bounced back to winning ways. And this is how we wrap up AM Sports here with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. We appreciate your time.
Pauline Abrago sits in front of her room saddened, wondering where the day's meal will come from. After losing 2 of her fingers in an accident, all patrons of her kebab business refused to patronize her. For health reasons, she had to give up street hawking, which became the alternative after the collapse of the kebab business.
3 days, 4 days, in Sukra
I sometimes go 3 days without food. I fell ill due to that. All I am able to do is to turn to God for help.
Though
the house has electricity, her room remains dark due to her inability to buy a new bulb to replace the worn-out one. The poorly ventilated room has just an old mattress, a dirty-looking trunk sitting on a table, and some shoes stuck under the table.
I live in harsh conditions. Things are tough. The whole community know how comfortable I lived when I was employed.
According to the latest unemployment data by the Ghana Statistical Service, about 2 out of 10 women are unemployed. The statistics from the 3rd quarter of 2023 further indicates about 8 out of 10 females are vulnerably employed. Paulina has managed to switch jobs after her accident, but she could barely last in any since her health has remained unstable.
After I lost my fingers in the accident, the kebab business collapsed. I started selling toffees and handkerchief, but due to the poor health, I couldn't sustain it.
We can be namideko. Me sport to near the but say be 2 years ni. Maybe I read that demo artist.
Her children couldn't get the needed education since she barely could raise money to keep them in school. Her daughter, Patricia Dankwa, is now a teenage mother. Efforts to obtain disability support from the District Assembly Common Fund have proven futile. Few days to the 2024 general elections, the new Patriotic Party is promising the implementation of the Women's Trade Empowerment Fund to provide loans and grants for female businesses. The opposition National Democratic Congress presents a similar alternative, proposing the establishment of a Women's Development Bank. Gender financing expert Sarah Anam supports the approach of both parties, but the mode of implementation should be reconsidered.
I think we are moving in the right direction, looking at women businesses critically or setting it aside critically. I think we are moving in the right direction because its ripple effects is significant. I would prefer that the government will rather set up the policy or create a certain revolving fund that sits with the central bank to probably give these funds to financial institutions to on-lend to women at cheaper rates. If the government sets up the agency to grant these women these initiatives or these benefits, then assurance of transparency, assurance of it reaching every woman that needs this becomes questionable.
For Joy News, Nanaya Chima, Kumasi.
The 46-kilometer stretch was originally intended to be the link between the Greater Accra and Eastern regions for the movement of people and goods, but has been stripped off its tracks by unidentified individuals despite a caution from the authorities. Now, government has to cough up approximately $5 million per a kilometer, which according to the Deputy Railways Minister, Kweku Asante-Boateng, is the cost. When I arrived at the scene, these residents volunteered to share accounts of encounters with men they suspect to be behind the theft.
It took us by surprise seeing them removing the whole rails on the way. We don't have any official communication about whether they are coming to do a new railway line or they are closing the whole railway system from Accra to Nsawam, because this road leads to Nsawam. We don't have any official communication from any authorities. We slept overnight and we saw them removing it from sources. Even we, the community leaders, went and stopped them that we don't know anybody. We don't have any information, so we'll not stop. But it's like there was an authority from above that we should allow them. So the following day when they were coming, they came with police officers and they removed all the railway lines, including even the wood. So it is a surprise for us. Until date, we don't know what is up.
It's almost 2 months now, yeah. But they came in batch and batch. The first batch came in, one Alaji came in around 1 a.m., started taking, there was a crane. A full metal of like that crane, no. So they came and took that one first. So the boys over here sidelined the guy, and then they said they will not allow him or they will not allow them to take off the crane. So the guy said he was sent by the Ghana Railway Authority or something like that. So the, what's the name? One guy called Mahmoud. He is the organizer of the current party. So he came in and arrested the whole project. So the MCE then instructed the guy. They should bring the guy to the office. We don't know what went on, and the guy was released. The police commander was here, and then they solved everything amicably. So they took off the crane. In another week or two, another badging came in. They also came in the same story. So over here, there's been like 4 squads.
4 different groups?
4 different groups. And they are all northerners. They came in and they took away.
You made mention earlier on the fact that they come here around 1 a.m. So they come here at 1 a.m. to remove them?
1 a.m. to remove the metal. But the last one that came in, they came in like early morning, and around 6:37, with the mass of the operators, the one with the gas. They cut off the line. Charlie, they were about almost 20-30 gas men. That one, they brought the light. So they came in. If you start to stop them, they'll just call authorities and they come and say, hey, what I allowed them to work.
The 110-year-old Achimota and Sawam railway line was originally renovated under President Akufo-Addo. But what you see now is only metal containers, wooden crates, sand, and stones. Fifi, who identifies himself as the youth leader, alleges that some powerful hands could be behind the act.
And we approached them to ask them where are they sending the rail line. They asked us, they were sent from Flagstaff House. So we asked them, where are the documents that shows that they were sent from there? And they show us documents with written on it, Office of the President. So when we saw that, we pulled back and asked them, no, we won't allow them to take the rail line. So they now involve police into what they are doing. So police asked us, we don't have any right to stop them. What we do is we should just allow them to, because they have legal document that shows that they have to take it away. So we have nothing to do. We just allow them to take it. The assembly even came in. They took the truck to the assembly in the police station. Later on, they came to take the rest.
Can you describe to us how they come and maybe the number of people that normally they come and how many groups were they in? Did they come one day to come and remove, or they came?
There were about 4 groups, because when we approached them, they said they have given them, it was contract they have given to them. It was contract they given to them. And the contract, they were about 4. Some people start at Alubushi, some people start at Taifa, and some people start at Domeye. And there were many. They were using gas and this cylinder gas to cut it. There were very, very many.
The once active train service on the Achimota and Sawam stretch was more than just a mode of transport. It was a lifeline that eased commuting and lowered the cost of living for residents.
Even body upon the boy. Then the tensi na make it 4 tensis na make it as me can't try to higher pan. It's all faka of request of faka obesi and son about dinner quine soon. As a faka at the aba akra. I know Benya.
I be because first never honeymoon. A man oh quite cry easier more. And I how your hand saying so train a boy or quansu be. But they say a year for yes, your time I am Tiaman a man biabo. I feel on the Yamianim no queen dear hair. I said the Udican Kai, Samuel and a kind to say a grassy fossy. On which me did maba. Near you beato, naefo, says young Casas, so no man a boy. And secondly, so sono, Treno, oh quackra, a bit me easier more. First, no sono a Trene diacon about us, I may see an Egypt. But says Anthony, you won't stab you. But and their boy a higher breed.
Residents have a single plea to government. A solution.
This place has become vacant for so many things to be used on. Now we have no hope that there will be any railway again. No hope. No hope.
The train was something that facilitates us. You know, train, there's no traffic. So when we were going to Accra those days, it was something that is so easy. Less than 30 minutes you are in Accra. I even said less than 15 minutes, you are in Accra. But now, since the rail is not working and we don't even have hope again that the rail will work, we don't have faith. And it's affecting the community, those who patronize goods in Accra, in and out. Businessmen, those who work in Accra. Some people are working in Accra. I can tell you, so a woman is here. She has to leave early morning and then take the first bus to Accra. Other than that, you know the truck drivers. They will take to Achimota, Circle, so it is really affecting us. Yeah.
Sir, obey me about Besaya, my Bumudia, Yakayape. Kabet me a boy. Say a bar, need to make on off. To be quite baby baby to make a funny of my badia. I'm a boy in. Then walk on. Said train samba. Train samba, a drani subeba. A drani yabanya dranato. Obi a bimudi a drani free a kurasiba. No wajina, no wato, no swakoton. Anyam faso, but says ya anti sabu. Until ye brepa serious. Ye bre.
From Dome Kwabinya Railway Lines, Collins Frimpong reporting for Joy News.
This is a big segment, a big story segment on the AM show. But before we get into it, Ghana, get ready for the biggest giveaway from Syntex Tank. Syntex is giving 15 communities free water. And this is to say thank you, Ghana, for making us the #1. Syntex was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Did you know that? Did you also know that Syntex comes in so many colors and sizes and was the first to come out with inner white layer tanks? So when it's not Syntex, forget about it. Now, if you're a community and you want to benefit from the Syntex free water giveaway, just log on to your social media handles at Syntex Ghana and nominate your community. The more you nominate, the better chances of Syntex coming to your community. And remember, it's SINTEX, Syntex Tank. Not be any tank be tanku. The correct tank be Syntex Tank. Syntex Tank, air strong, air tough. Ben, what are we doing this morning?
Well, we're getting into the conversation when it comes to persons with disabilities. And the Center for Disability Entrepreneurship and Public Policy has been calling on the public to extend support to them, persons with disabilities, ahead of the December 7 general elections. Now, they are focusing on the importance of inclusivity. They must be included, compassion, and participation in strengthening Ghana's democracy. The question is, what can we all do for such persons on election day? And what can the system, government, the EC, and others do to facilitate their voting process? Well, joining us for a conversation, we have Andrew Ni Okaikwe. He is founder of the Center for Disability Entrepreneurship and Public Policy. He joins the conversation. Andrew, a very good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you and to your listeners.
It's a pleasure having you join the conversation this morning. First off, what triggered this latest... Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Andrew?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Great, great.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Okay, Andrew, you would have to listen to me on the phone. If you're using any other gadget, you will have a delay in hearing me. So listen to me on the phone alone. Hello, Andrew?
Sure.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I was just asking, what triggered this latest push for inclusivity among others when it comes to our brothers and sisters, persons with disabilities?
Most importantly, holding free and fair elections contributes to fulfillment of rights of individual to political participation, and which is of equal importance. And per our act as a country and as any civilized society, the process of voting is critical to persons' participation in the democratic process. And for people with disability, accessibility of polling stations or polling places or voting technologies, as well as aspects of the voting process can impact on the ability of individuals to exercise their civic rights. So in this regard, it is important that barriers to voting can take many interrelated forms: social, political, physical, and even economic. So the impact of poverty and disability on voter participation is something that is well documented. So these are some of the barriers that comes into play when it comes to people with disability exercising their civic rights.
I see. And of course, we are at the very doorstep of another election. But I would just ask you, so far, even before we come and focus on the elections, in terms of your daily lives, what you do, work and all of that, how much would you say over the last few years has been done in terms of aiding persons with disability?
Well, to be very honest, I think that looking even just within the sub-region, I wouldn't say Ghana hasn't done much. I would say we've come far. But looking at us as a country, we could have done better. Why do I say we could have done better? We have situations where accessibility is still a problem for us. We have a situation where public places are still not accessible to persons with disability. And even if they do, you have situations where you have high-rise buildings that they are not lift-equipped. And even when they are lift-equipped, sometimes there's malfunctioning. And even places that you even have ramps for wheelchair, the wheelchairs don't conform to international standards. You have situations where some ramps are so steep. Yes, they want to make the effort to make the particular infrastructure accessible, but they do not conform to standards. So I will say that efforts have been made, thanks to the Ghana Federation for the Disabled and other disability groupings for their advocacy work, but we could have done better.
And it's interesting because he was talking about the Disability Act in there as well, Sweetie Abochi, and what it says, a lot of which we are actually not, implementing.
Yeah. What I want to find out from you, Mr. Okanko, even before we get to what you would need this election, in terms of the manifestos and the promises that the presidential aspirants have been making in the lead up to the December 7th polls, which of them do you think really meets you at the point of your needs? Have you seen any policies maybe that you think is...
Well,
no, go ahead.
Well, all the policies that all the political parties have mentioned, all the policies that the political parties have actually reiterated, they are all in consonant with the Act. They are in the Act. The only important thing here is it's not being fully implemented. And I must say that all the political parties have made good pledges when it comes to the issues of disability. It's now left with the implementation. The implementation is the most important thing. Going window shopping is different from buying.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to the implementation as they have all promised in their manifestos.
Okay, so let's talk about the elections then. What are you doing as an organization to sensitize your members in terms of also creating awareness of how important it is that they also go out and vote? And then we'll talk about what you really need to help you get that.
Well, a few weeks ago, we had the opportunity as a center in another fora to have a dialogue with the Electoral Commission. And we were of the view that it would have been beautiful if the Electoral Commission had extended the special voting for persons with disability. It would have been very fantastic. It makes it easier for them. It also shows our commitment as a country to the issues of disability. Moving forward as a center, we have engaged other people, persons with disability in diverse forms, the visually impaired, the hearing impaired, the physically disabled. And we have given the pay guidelines for the election or the code of conduct. We have educated them enough. We have a team also on the ground, particularly in concentrated areas like Ewutu Senya, who they are going to support people with disability on the D-Day, even though the Electoral Commission have also made provisions. It would have been more beautiful if they have extended the special voting to persons with disability.
Right. Now that that's over and we have just 3 days to go to the polls, what do you need as a center or as persons with disabilities? What do you need to aid you to also cast your ballot so that the country don't disenfranchise you?
We need accessibility without barriers on voting day, which the Electoral Commission have assured.
Let's be as detailed as possible.
With accessibility.
Mr. Gakwe, if you can hear me, let's be as detailed as possible. Exactly what do you mean by assistance and all that? What do you need? In the simplest terms possible. What do
accessibility, access to infrastructure.
Right.
Access to polling stations. Yes, access to movement. So the scope of accessibility when it comes to disability is very wide, of course. But when we're referring to accessibility on a day as this, we are referring to access to polling stations and access to infrastructure. Because you go to some of the polling stations and we have staircases that persons with disability cannot access. So we ask for assistance from officers and even to the generality of the good public.
In terms of helping you get to the polling stations to cast your ballots, that's what you need. Are there any other arrangements in terms of Braille ballots? Because there are people who cannot see, but their votes are important. What else in that regard do you need? Do you have those? I should ask.
I think the EC have also made provision for the... Okay. Yes, they have those. That is also in place.
Okay. Well, Ben, it looks like some provisions have been made, but primarily he's talking about accessibility. So Electoral Commission, we, the voting population, helping them get to the polling stations so that they can also cast.
I mean, if you consider that sometimes they have to go and in some instances they will not be allowed to progress, they have to queue like most people would, it becomes problematic. But Andrew, I just want to find out, you made a point about your being added to the special voting exercise so that you could have had more laxity to actually go and cast your ballot. Do you mean that, for example, we have, thanks to some errors on ballot papers, the eastern and western regions will be voting in that special vote tomorrow. But are you saying that on Monday, you would have loved it if you had been added to the special voting? Is that what you were saying?
Exactly.
I see. Is it something, a request that has come up in the past, maybe a request that was brought before the Electoral Commission or maybe members of Parliament? Did that request come any time before, or is it now that you're pushing for this?
I think, unfortunately, it's too late in the day, but this request have been pushed to the Electoral Commission, and we're looking forward to that being done in the near future. This request was made to the representative, I would say a few weeks ago, not even a month, and we're looking forward to opportunities like that in future.
All right. Now, currently, like you say, it's a little too late. You've enumerated a number of things that at least can be done to help you. What engagements, beyond what we are doing here to support the cause, what engagements are you having? It's still not too late to ensure that maybe the EC and others can be sensitized, you know, polling agents, Electoral Commission officials and all that can be sensitized to help when persons with disabilities come forward. What is the move from your end?
The Electoral Commission, in as much as I'm aware, have interacted or have engaged disability groupings, Ghana Federation for the Disabled, Ghana's Blind Union. They've engaged stakeholders in this particular question that you are putting to me, and the concerns have been presented to them. So we want to believe that all these requests that the disability organizations have put before the Electoral Commissions will be adhered to.
I see. How long ago were these engagements held? Do you know?
I think this has been a continuous process. In every election, during the district elections, all these engagements went through, and Madam Abigail Nutako was the lead person from the Electoral Commission, and it's been ongoing, and we're looking forward that we have an excellent outcome.
All right, so I have two final bits for you. One, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sure are you that come the 7th of December, the process is going to be extremely easy for persons with disabilities so that you don't go through unnecessary stress merely trying to cast your ballot? How sure, how positive are you that things will go well on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the highest and 1 is the lowest?
It's going to go well, but this comes back to the quest for special voting. You know, a lot of people with disability who have serious mobility issues, because of sometimes the queue, because of sometimes the feeling of for lack of better words, being like a nuisance during voting time, they sometimes will not want to vote at all because they don't want a situation where their families would have to go through the struggle for them to go and vote, or they go to the police station and they probably have to distract for their purposes. So these are some of the things why we putting in a request for special voting. But be it that it may, I believe that we persons with disability, we are going to have a smooth opportunity to vote in this process.
So your confidence level on 1 to 10 is what?
Pardon me?
So your confidence level that things will go as smoothly as you say for you, I asked on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? 10 is the highest, 1 is the lowest.
I'll say 6.
You would say 6. Okay. I don't know whether there's anything else you'd like to ask. I'd wanted you to give us a message of peace before you take leave of us.
But before you do that, do you know the turnout for persons with disability in last election? Do you know how many people? I understand that there's about 2 million. That is according to the 2021 Ghana Statistical Service report. There are about 2 million persons with disability. Do you know how many people were able to cast their vote last election year? In a way,
you are right with your statistics from the Statistical Service. But unfortunately, less than that, or less than what is projected out there voted. Not even 1 million people with disability voted, and are stand to be corrected by the Electoral Commission because of sometimes these barriers that we have talked about, accessibility issues and all that. But like I said, there is hope for the future. It's a learning process, and we need to motivate people with disability that it is their civic responsibility to vote in every election, because their participation in the election determines policies that will affect their lives and their children and beyond, and also coming back to possible people with disabilities in the future.
Right. I mean, this is important because of 2 million or over 2 million people. That's a huge percentage of the voting population that should not be disenfranchised. So let's try as much as possible to aid them come December 7th. We can get to your peace message.
I just wanted to chip in before that. So if you look at the last election, of course, the 2 million there would not all of them qualified to vote. So it's the whole number. If you look at this, 2020, a total number of 64,966 persons living with disability were captured on the voters' register. That was one of the registration exercises. So the number of those who actually vote is much less than the total population of persons with disability. But finally, Andrew, what would be, I mean, it's an interesting picture because in Ghana, every electoral year, we sort of fight anew for peace. But what would be your message of peace to us before you take leave of us?
To, first of all, my brothers and sisters in the disability community and their families, the most important thing is we should look out first for Ghana. We must prove to Ghanaians that we are people with determination. And our determination in every facet of our lives and our civic responsibility will give birth to what we are looking for as a country and for the policies that the new government puts in place. They should therefore look out for a government with the best manifesto for persons with disability. And the most important thing of all is, and to the generality of Ghanaians, is we have only one Ghana, and anything that we do to mar the peace of our country will project us as a failed country. And we need to prove to the entire world that we care for people with disability. We don't want to create accidents during voting time to create more people with disability to add up to the sheet. Therefore, let us vote peacefully and let us vote as a country that has come very far. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining the conversation. And we all together will be working so that come election day, you can have a smoother process. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. That is Andrew Ni Okaikwe, founder, Center for Disability
Thank you, and you
Entrepreneurship.
have a good morning.
You do same. He is with the Center for Disability Entrepreneurship and Public Policy. That was a pretty interesting conversation today.
We unintentionally sometimes forget that there are people living with disability who are as important as citizens as the rest of us. So let's do our best. If you see someone at the polling station who needs help, please just offer the best help that you can offer, so they can also cast their vote.
Let's also add this. Sometimes you go into the queue and you see elderly people and nobody is paying attention to them. Let's be sensitive. Senior citizens, persons with disabilities. Let's be kind.
Women.
Pregnant women, you know. Or it may even be the person is able-bodied but is sick at that time, but is just trying to. Let's be charitable and let these people do theirs. The rest of us who can stand and do it, let's be charitable to them.
Right. You want to stay with us. There's still so much coming your way on the AM show, but we take a break and we return with more.
Welcome back. It's the AM show. It's our second big story for you. And like you can see in the background, we're talking about Galamsey. Now, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey has been making a demand on all presidential candidates contesting in the 2024 election to sign a national pledge against illegal and irresponsible mining. Now, this pledge, they say, should commit them to ending Galamsey and restoring Ghana's water bodies, forest reserves, and environmental heritage for posterity. We'll be hearing from the coalition as well as other stakeholders. But joining us for a conversation, so would you like to take us through that, Sweetie?
Yes, we have Awula Sewa. She's coordinator, Eco-Conscious Citizens, joining us this morning. Thank you for joining the conversation, Awula Sewa. How are you doing?
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Great. It's great. It's good to know that the fight against illegal mining is still on. We've seen a statement we've seen a statement from you, but let's hear you briefly on what the intention behind this statement is.
Well, the intention is that we all know that we are facing an existential threat. Joy has done a fantastic job, but unfortunately, we are still where we are. Our politicians are telling us that you are being poisoned. Don't worry, keep on being poisoned. When we finish with the elections, we'll see what we can do. And we are saying that this is totally unacceptable. We are saying that whoever comes to power, somebody is going to win the elections. So whoever comes should commit to going straight to the forest reserves and removing all equipment, all persons mining in our forest reserves and water bodies. We are saying that they should pause all small-scale mining because, you know, even with the big ones, the big mining companies, we have just about 15 or so. We can't even monitor them. How much more the thousands and thousands of community mining, small-scale mining, whatever you want to call it, is just not working. And I believe that Alan Tremontaine, in his 10-point plan, has talked about banning small-scale mining for a short period. Then we are also saying that we must revoke the perverse LI 2462, which allows mining in forest reserves and also in globally significant biodiversity areas. This is a very irresponsible piece of legislation.
Let's stay on the state of emergency line for a bit.
I'm sorry. We are saying that they should also adopt the polluter pays principle, which means that those who are being who are found guilty of polluting our water bodies or our environment, who are being prosecuted, then their assets should be sold and used towards reclamation, because reclamation is a very, very expensive business.
Okay. So at this time, at this point in the fight against illegal mining, with just 2 or 3 days to go to the polls, do you think that a state of emergency is in line? Looking at the time.
Well, we could do it. I mean, the time is very short, obviously, but I mean, at the time the statement was made, it was very, very possible. Because what does the Constitution say? It says in consultation. You can consult in 10 minutes. It didn't say in agreement, it said in consultation. Right. It's just that the political will wasn't there. So right now we are saying that whoever wins the elections immediately declare a state of emergency, go to the forest reserves and the water bodies and remove all persons and equipment. Those who have been granted licenses to mine in our forest reserves, the licenses should be revoked and no further licenses should be issued.
Okay.
And this should be done within the first, I would say the next day in office, but we have to be realistic. So within the first 20 days of office, because we are being poisoned. And it's so wicked of our politicians to say, you're being poisoned, that's okay. Let's finish with the elections. If you've died, that's okay. We might buy a coffin for you. I mean, how wicked can we be?
Right. Ben will come to you in a bit, but I mean, it's still just 3 days to go to the elections. Would you say you're making steady progress in actually getting the politicians to sign this?
Well, we don't know, but we need to keep on getting them to realize that you come to political office to serve the people, not to lord it over them or to enrich yourself. At the end of the day, it's up to the people. The people, if they are happy to be poisoned, fair enough. But if they are angry enough, in fact, today we'll be showing Poison for Gold again at Christ Apostolic Church this evening, 7 p.m. Because when we showed the first one at the KB Asante Memorial Park, there was a stunned silence afterwards. And lots of people said to me privately that they were not aware of the extent. They'd heard people talk about it, but they didn't realize the extent of the existential threat we face. And maybe that's why we have not been angry enough. But once Ghanaians realize the state of the existential threat, I'm sure that if whoever comes into office fails to do what we've asked, then they'll have to hit the streets, or maybe organized labor will wake up and declare a strike, a national strike.
Right. Benjamin, this is what we have. But I'm just wondering if the cardinal value of signing this pact wouldn't have been more effective if we say that if you don't sign, then we won't vote for you. Coming to this point now with just 3 days to go, I struggle to see how we can get these presidential aspirants to actually commit to this. By your take now.
Which brings me, it segues right into my question. Awula Sewa, is this not coming too little too late?
Well, I would say that it should have come much, much earlier. I mean, nobody can deny that it should have come much earlier, but we are where we are. The fact of the matter is that we're badly let down by organized labor, badly let down. We believed what they said, that there was going to be a general strike, and that would have forced the government, to do the needful. I mean, even a class 2 child will know that what's going on is unacceptable and should have been stopped so many years ago. But we are where we are. So the cardinal thing will be that whoever comes into office, whether they sign the pledge or not, if within a certain number of days they haven't repealed perverse LI 2462, they haven't declared a state of emergency, then we should all hit the streets. Right now, sensible people will not vote for anybody who is killing them. I can't tell anybody who to vote for. I believe every voter should be responsible enough to know who to vote for. I'll just say that no sensible person votes for somebody who is either supervising your death or actually the one who is administering the poison. So a word to the wise is in the north, as they say.
But the coalition against Galamsey, I mean, even after the organized labor failed to go ahead, and it was only CHAG, from what I recall, that went ahead with it until a certain point. There was still time. There was still a month or two, at least, before elections to have done something. Would you say that you as well in the coalition, we have all been in this together, but would you say that maybe you dragged your feet until you realized that, well, we may get to the point where we have a new leader, but the situation, the status quo, remains?
Well, that is true. I mean, there are no excuses to be made. We should have acted yesterday. We didn't. And as I said, we're badly let down. So I think the recovery was still taking place. Nobody could believe that organized labor could give the assurances it gave. There were meetings, and then all of a sudden, upon some assurances that did not stand scrutiny, decide not to go ahead. But yes, we could have still have done something, which we didn't. But all Ghanaians could also have done something. And as you rightly said, we are all in it together. And we haven't done the best we could have done. That is admitted. But we are where we are, and we need to act now. It's only a few days. The elections are on Saturday. They may or they may not sign. But whatever happens, we need to make it quite clear that if you don't stop poisoning us after all the excellent work that have been done by journalists, risking their lives, yourself, others have risked their lives. Erastus has been beaten up. I don't know what has been done, and not just him and his team. There are also people, they've been beaten up. Nobody knows what has been done to the perpetrators. Yes, we've acted a little, we haven't acted as quickly as we should, but we are acting now. And whoever comes to power, come the elections over, is on notice. If you're not going to stop the poisoning, we will either hit the streets or there'll be a general strike. We're not going to sit there and say, continue poisoning us whilst you dilly-dally about what to do. We're tired of being poisoned. Those who are dead are already dead. And let me say it again. People think they are safe. We are not safe. The food you are consuming, do you know where it's coming from? Do you know if there's any arsenic or mercury in the tubers or plantains you are consuming? Then poison has entered the food chain. And let me be absolutely clear, even the water we are drinking, it's not only when it's brown that we should be afraid, even when it's transparent.
Yes.
These metals are colorless. So we do not know if they are in our water. And Ghana Water Company is not pretending that they remove these toxins from the water.
And indeed, that is the case, because we don't use reverse osmosis. And even it may not be financially, looking at the states, feasible for us to do that. It's just that you mentioned Erastus. I feel it's a blot on our conscience, right? Because barring what initially was said, Sweetie, what was said about, and the police and this and that, what else do we know about that situation? It's almost reminiscent of what happened to Ahmed Hussein Swale. These things happen in this country, and
there's no
over time...
There's no follow-up.
Exactly.
Yes.
There's no responsibility for what is done.
So maybe we need to have a situation where we follow up and then we give conditions. You can't just beat up people, say that you're members of the ruling party, and then there's no urgency in doing anything. I don't know if I've mentioned here the case about the Atronsu activists. They had the pure, pristine Atronsu stream. It was being poisoned. The case was reported so many times. I myself made contact with the regional commander and the police commander. Nothing was being done. The illegal miners poisoned the stream. They were arrested once, swiftly given police bail, and promptly continued to poison the stream. Then on Farmers' Day, apparently 2 excavators which were being used to poison the community, 2 excavators were apparently burnt, and the police decided that it had to be the activists, and promptly they were arrested. I called the police commander to ask for police bail. He told me that, oh, we're only investigating. He was on his way to the Farmers' Day event. That day, they were quickly sent to court. The court refused bail, and they were remanded in custody. So this is the kind of situation we have in Ghana. The people poisoning us, killing us can do what they like. And then when it comes to the perpetrators, either those who beat up journalists or threaten them, or those who actually poison a stream, the only source of water, they can carry on because it's believed that they are well connected.
Hawla, please hold for us. We'll circle back to you. We also have Dr. Kenneth Ashigbey. He's convener Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, and they also put out a statement asking presidential candidates to sign. Doc, thank you for joining the conversation. Inferring from what Awula Sewa says, it appears we would have made some significant progress in the fight against illegal mining if organized labor had gone through with their threats of a national shutdown. In your statement, you're saying that organized labor is also on board. How confident are you that when the time arises for organized labor to put their foot down, this time they'll do that?
So I think the point has to be made that there are some labor unions that form part of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. And when we start by so they part, well organized, but they are watching.
Oh, Doc, I do want to get the crux of what you're saying, but the line is, maybe you can speak up so we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, this is better. Let's go.
Okay. So I'm saying that organized labor has been, let me put it, maybe not necessarily organized labor, various elements of the labor union have been part of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. As an entity organized labor, so it went bring together various that they are not. But we organized labor says we're watching and we're monitoring what government do. So our expectation now that organized labor should have looked at the enhanced measures that government said. The extension to Operation Hall. Is there anything happening? The parliamentarians, when they, instead of dealing with strapping the LI state force people, they decided to fight about visiting on which day. The issues about specialized and all of that. So there are things that have not been done. So our expectation as the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey is the fact that the organized labor would hold government accountable. But we are not going to allow ourselves to be derailed by any individual. We believe this is an existential threat. This is about us dying. As Awula has said, our streams are being poisoned, our environment is being destroyed. So we need to fight it. And one of the things that the Ghana Coalition had put out, which, organized labor itself also had as one of the things, is the signing of the pact. And so, because we also realize that the elections are just here and the political parties themselves are very busy out in the field, we then had to send the pact to all the political parties and ask them to sign and then return it back to us. And then on Thursday morning, we would have a press conference at the International Press Center, whereas we and various other the Ghana Coalition, CHAG is part of us in this particular venture. And then other identifiable bodies who also associate themselves with this particular fight, we would witness it. And then we would mention to all of Ghana that these are the political parties that have you at heart, that have signed the pact to be able to fight this. But anybody else who decides not to sign it after it's been given to them, then you can take your decision on who these people are. So, yes, any labor union that can join us, and some of them are part of us, I say CHAG is part of us, the general, that some other labor unions can come and join us. The media coalition is part, various bodies, we are all part of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. And we will do the needful so far as our country is concerned, so far as our very existence is also concerned.
Well, please hold for Ben.
What is the end?
Well, you see, unfortunately for everybody, we cannot be but hopeful. Because if we decide, we resign ourselves to hopelessness, it means we want to be killed. because the situation that we find ourselves in is very bad. What is being perpetuated against us is ecocide, is genocide, and we need to protect and fight for Ghana. So we need all of us as citizens to be citizens and not spectators.
Right.
And not say that because we are being killed, we are going to resign ourselves and die. We definitely need to fight back. If you have, it's not even the interest of your children or your children's children. It's even about today, before we even start looking at tomorrow. And this fight, we need to stop the rot, but there are also opportunities for doing the right thing. All those conversations that we've had at COP and all the money that are going to be available. If we continue cutting the trees and all of that, how are we going to benefit from the green economy that is coming? So we cannot but be hopeful, and that's why we are happy that one of the particular realms of the state, the media, has fought this thing and continues to fight it. And we need to fight it beyond Saturday and make sure that whoever becomes president, whether it is His Excellency, the Vice President, or His Excellency, the former President, or the other political party, they immediately on the 7th of January would have the temerity to take the actions that are required to be able to save us from these nation records and these ecological suicide bombers that are perpetuating these things against them.
All right.
Doc, Benjamin here, you talk about how dire the situation is getting. Well, the situation has been dire for a pretty long time. We are all fully aware of that. You've spoken about a number of things, but essentially, with this statement, what is the end game for you? What does it boil down to?
So, well, the end game is two. We would want the presidential candidates to sign a social contract with us that we can hold them accountable to on from the 7th of January.
And if they do not?
If they do not, what we will do on Thursday when we hold the press conference is be able to tell those who have decided that they are not going to sign and those who have signed. We know already some of them have signed and returned it to us. So if the rest decide that they are not going to sign it, what is going to happen is that we will point them out. But then the decision that has to be taken is the decision of the sovereign people of Ghana. We have to take the decision and say, these people decided that they won't sign the pact with us. And these people decided that they don't take Ghanaians seriously, are very survival, they don't take it seriously. They then deserve to be leaders of this country. So that is the end game, the social contract that we need to sign with these political parties, and who is going to be eventually the president. And then to be able to show those who decide that the Ghanaians don't matter, and let the electorates know that that's actually what the situation is. And then you leave that decision to all of us as Ghanaians to take.
Okay, two quick things on the back of what you said. One, I'm sure some of the parties, in fact, the major political parties will tell you that in their manifestos, they have plans in terms of dealing with the scourge of Galamsey. I don't know what your take would be if they pointed you to that. And secondly, you say some have signed, put pen to paper already. Which ones have signed and which ones have not signed? So two things. What would be your reaction if they directed you to just check out their manifestos and say, I don't need to sign this because my manifesto already captures what I'm going to do? And the second bit, which ones have signed and which ones have not?
Then let me answer your second question first. We would hold on Thursday, we would announce those who have signed and those who have not signed. But in terms of the manifestos, especially the two political parties, look into that. They all promise things that they would want to do, but they don't confront, the devil, actually in this whole thing, the issue of stopping the carnage. So if some of them are going to set up gold bonds, some of them are going to do the geological surveys and so where everything is, that is fine. But if you are, that's the one that you can't done. What you have to, you need to leave. So you need to stop the rot. You need to stop the fact that the water currently, in August, Ghana Water was telling you that the stability of the water was 14,000 NT. When it ought to be 5 NT. You need to stop the fact that your forests are being eaten up as we speak. You need to stop the fact that Currently, as we speak, renal diseases are on the. So you need to stop all of those things. And go and look at the manifestos of the two of them. None of them are confronting that particular thing. Is it surprising that you will find out that an MPP parliamentary candidate who's the doctor saying that they will stop the illegal and irresponsible mining when they come? Is it surprising that Mustafa Bandi, an MPP, one of their leaders, also goes to stand somewhere and say when they come, they will let people continue it? Are you surprised about that? If they claim that is what is in their manifesto. So we need to deal with the issues that all of us, the whole of Ghana, the media coalition, various over 50 entities came up with and said this. We need to stop the illegality and the irresponsibility. That is not in the manifestos of the two of them. So that cannot be an excuse for saying I am not going to sign because I have that in my manifesto. And we have made it very, very easy for them.
Okay.
Ideally, we would have said that we wanted to bring all of them together at a particular event to get them all to sign it. But currently, we agree they are at different parts planning their own campaigns and all of that. We don't want to disturb that. And so we have send the documents to them. They are just supposed to sign it and send it back to us. And we would then tell Ghanaians who have signed and who have not signed. So
all right.
Anything in your manifesto definitely does not deal with what we are asking for.
Well, Doc, they do say the pen is mightier than the sword. So for me as an individual, I like that we're trying this way. But how confident are you seeing all the initiatives, all the demonstrations, all the talk, journalists, nearly losing their lives because of this fight against illegal mining? How confident are you that this particular step holds the key to our quest to end this menace?
So what it is that I am confident that if the Ghanaians decide that the right thing ought to be done, and we all put our shoulder to the wheel and push it, it's going to happen. The signing of the pact is not just a single silver bullet. It is the beginning of things that we need to do. It is that social contract that was signed with our leaders to ensure that the right thing is done. Unfortunately for us, in this fight against Galamsey, the reason why it's different, and it's one of something that I wrote, I wrote something is that the firefighters are that the fact that, we have Galamsey money, something most of the political parties, especially the one. So we bring them into this, and especially the professional associations and organizations. We need to hold those resources that, and it will start the day signing the particular document, which we can then talk to them tomorrow when they win the election. They said that that is what happened.
Thank you so much. Let me just ask my final bit to Awula Sewa. What happens next? There's a big possibility that this would not deter the perpetrators, those who still want to poison us. Awula Sewa, what happens next if this doesn't?
Well, you see, as has been very eloquently said by my brother, the environmental terrorism could not have gone on if the firefighters were not themselves the arsonists. We know that. Yeah. We know that Media Against Galamsey made a complaint against Akonta mining. We are still looking at it, but look at the alacrity with which the Atronsu activists were sent to court. So we see that the firefighters are the arsonists. What happens next? The only thing that will make a difference is if Ghanaians are angry enough. And I keep on saying it, Ghanaians are not angry enough. Whether it's because they think they're not being directly affected, whether because, I don't know, but we're not angry enough. If I came to your house and I started beating you up, are you just going to say that, okay, you're going to wait for somebody to come from somewhere to do something? You're going to do something about it. So what's going on is that Ghanaians are not angry enough. So we are hoping that by continuing to screen the poison for gold, because many people haven't watched it. When we screened it last Saturday, they hadn't watched it. We're screening it today again at La Christ Apostolic Church to try and get people angry enough to take the right decision. So even after the elections, that's not the end of the day. Whoever comes to power, if they don't do the right thing, and for starters, you need to repeal LI 2462. For starters, you need to get everybody away from the forest reserves and the water bodies. For starters, you need to ban small-scale mining, community mining, whatever name you put on it, it is causing a lot of the problem. You need to ban it. The only person who has been bold enough to say so, as far as I can see, is Alan Tremonte. The rest are just putting plaster. They are not getting to the root of the problem. You say you're going to do geological surveys. Okay, you do it and you find out that the gold is in the water body. Then what next? It doesn't make any sense to me. We know what the gold is. The point is to enforce the laws to make sure that we don't go where we shouldn't go. At the end of the day, if the electorate is not prepared to hit the streets or organized labor call a national strike, we can talk all we want to talk. They don't sign it, or they sign it and they don't abide by it, then what? So I'm calling out to Ghanaians, if you're happy to be poisoned, by all means, let's carry on being poisoned. But if you value your life, you value the environment God has given us, rather than build a cathedral, God has given us a beautiful environment. We have Atiwa Forest Reserve. You want to go and mine bauxite there. So unless the electorate is tired of being poisoned and decides that I'm not going to let you poison me, we can talk as much as we like. People can sign things. If they don't abide by it, then what?
In terms of repealing LI 2462, do you think if we didn't have this current parliamentary impasse, it would have been dealt with already?
No, if we wanted to deal with it, we could have dealt with it. If you notice, three NPC MPs brought a private members' bill to repeal LI 24 because, according to them, it hadn't been laid before Parliament. So I keep on saying that organized labor let us down big time. They were not serious about it. They could have repealed it if they wanted to. They were not serious about it. And I'm not quite sure anybody's serious right now. We want to go on business as usual. And you see, we're so short-sighted. How much are we getting out of gold? 5-point-something billion. Out of that, only about 1.5 billion is retained. We get far more from remittances. We get far more from cocoa. And very soon, our cocoa will be so full of mercury.
But that's what's accounted for the state. I mean, there are private individuals making much more than that. And,
of course, that's what I'm saying. The money is going to private pocket. How does it benefit you and I? Look at the state of the river. Some can afford to do reverse osmosis in their homes so that the water they cook with, wash with is all better than the rest of the water. They only buy imported water. Whilst I'm sure they're buying imported food, and maybe the restaurants they go to, before they go there, they told them what to do. But the rest of us are being poisoned. And this is wickedness. Wickedness at the highest level. For any government to allow ecocide, as has been already said, allow environmental terrorism to take place so that you can make money to do what?
Right.
God is not mocked. They'll all be held accountable. Okay.
And right before Ben comes in, Dr. Ashigbey, do you believe that the current parliamentary impasse has nothing to do with our delay in repealing LI 2462? Do we still have Dr. Kenneth Ashigbey with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I was asking if you agree with Aula Sewa that if we really wanted to repeal LI 2462, we would have done that already. The current parliamentary impasse has nothing to do with the delay.
You know, Aula is, she's learned. I am not learned. So once she says that, there's nothing for me to say again. But I completely agree in one step that if the NDC and the MPP thought that our very survival was very important and this repeal was important, they would have put aside these very pedestrian and very, childish fights that we're fighting about who's the square and put the national interest. Right. This is the reason why acceptance is relevant. That the leadership class, the political class, really not. They start to allow the notion of, to pass. Now you have an opportunity to come and kill it. You're not free. And is that out the Attorney General himself has said that they were going to repeal the.
Yeah.
They are not continuing to give grants and sign permits for people to continue into the forest there. And those are one of the things that we're going to do the RTI law. To be able to say that who are the people who've been granted by the Minerals Commission and the EP. And when was the last time that any of these permits were signed? And so if they really say that they really have this country at heart, the fact that they've not repealed it does not mean they couldn't have stopped the damage that was being caused in our forest reserve.
Right. All right. Thank you, Ken. Ben.
Well, we're grateful for your time. Thank you for joining the conversation, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbey. He is convener of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. We also had Awula Sewa, coordinator for the Eco-Conscious Citizens, joining the conversation. Do stick and stay. We'll be back with more action shortly.
Welcome back to the AM show. Now let's talk about DBS Industries. In the studio with me this morning is Kelvin Mosiah. He's Group Manager for the Sales and Customer Service Department at DBS Industries. And James Kwawu Senu, he's also a Sales and Marketing Manager at DBS Industries. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
So introduce us to DBS Industries. Let me start with you, Kelvin.
Okay, so DBS Industries is the leading manufacturer of roofing products in Ghana, but over the years we've expanded and we also have concrete products as well and steel products as well.
Okay.
So in the roofing we have various types, various profiles and colors. We have the IBR, which is the inverted box rib. We have the IDT, which is the industrial deep froth, and with these ones you see the nails. We also have the modern self-lock, or which is commonly known as the MSL. That's where you don't see the nails at all. So the sheets interlock. And
you want some neat work done.
Neat work done.
Yeah.
And what this does is it protects you from, when the nails are exposed over time, it creates avenues for leakages.
Yeah.
So this helps curb that. And we also have a ColorLink Plus material. We offer you a 20-year warranty certificate against fading. 20 years warranty against fading.
Okay.
Yes, and we give out a warranty certificate to back this claim.
Right.
So when you think DBS, it's not just roofing now. We have concrete products, we have pavement blocks, building blocks, we have steel products, we have steel pipes, both round and square. We have prefabricated steel structures. That's when people are building warehouses and yes, those big projects as well.
In fact, I'd argue that some of our audience are already very familiar with DBS because you've been on board some of our initiatives, the housing, what's it called, EcoBank joining Habitat Fair, many other products. But what's new is what I see in your shirt, Bosu Free promo. James, tell us about that.
So, Bosu Free simply means free installation. So what we are trying to imply is we are giving, when you purchase our material, being the ColorLink, the Super or the Rainbow material, we are giving you free installation. So what it means, you only pay for the cost of material and pay for the cost of transport.
This applies to everything?
No, just for our Alusing products, being the ColorLink, the Super, then the Rainbow.
Okay.
So it means the cost of installation is just on us. It's free. You are not going to pay for it. You only pay for the cost of roofing and transport. That's all.
So how exactly does it work? They come to your shop or your wherever you are, they order and then pay for only the cost of the items, and you follow them to do the installation for them for free.
Yes, so let me take you through our journey. So probably you need to request for an estimate. So when you request for an estimate, we'll assign an estimator to your home or to your site to get the measurement, which is the estimate. Then when that is done, we generate the PFI. So when you have the PFI, then that's where you can take a decision. So it means on the PFI, we have shown the cost of material, we have shown the cost of labor, which is the installation, and we have shown the cost of transport. So on the invoice, you are not paying the cost of installation. The cost of installation is just free.
And it all starts with requesting for an estimate.
Yes,
as
just
simple
request
as
for
that.
as simple as that.
And there's also something, light gauge trusses. What's that about? What's unique about it?
Yes, so light gauge trusses is a very lightweight material which used to form the structure of the building. Probably instead of wood, wood nowadays is very scarce. So we advise people just to use the trusses. It's a very light material which doesn't exert a lot of weight on your building. So they are the metal which is used for the wood carcass. So that's no wood, but this metal is very weight,
Okay.
Yeah.
Kelvin, so what makes DBS Industries, what is your unique selling proposition? What makes you unique among all other roofing companies.
Yeah, thank you. Just like I touched on earlier.
Yeah.
We provide, apart from the roofing sheets, we have the concrete products and we have the steel products as well. So from the foundation level to the roofing points, we are there with you every step of the way. And we are the only company in Ghana that's offering the warranty certificate, the 20-year warranty certificate against fade. And I think I was telling James the other day that if there is anyone out there that is also giving you the same offer, we have a beachfront property at Cantonment for anyone that can.
Right.
Yes.
So you have unmatched, unparalleled prices and quality of products.
Very well.
Let's get into the details in terms of how to contact you, your location, contact number, social media handles. Please share.
So we have branches dotted all over around the country. We are in Accra, we are in Kumasi, we are in Tamale, we are in Takoradi.
Oh, yes. In all the big cities.
All the big cities. And you can call us on 0240 84 44 44.
Please take that again.
0240 84 44 44. 0240 84 44 in Kumasi, 050 600 4141. 050 600 4141. And in Takoradi, 050 600 4242. 050 600 4242.
James, I'll give you the final word, but please include social media handles.
Okay, so my final word is the Bosufre is ending 31st of this month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I urge everyone just to take the opportunity to roof at this various points. And you can also reach us on www.dbsghana.com for any further clarification. Things which we have not mentioned here. If you come to our handle, you get them. Yeah. We're also on Facebook, DBS, and Instagram as well.
So you're on all social media platforms.
Social media, dbsghana.com.
dbsghana.com. This is for DBS Industries Limited. Kelvin Muzaya is Group Manager, Sales and Customer Service, and James Kwawusenu is Sales and Marketing Manager, all from DBS Industries Limited. Thank you for coming, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you for having me.
So take advantage of this Bosu free promo and get your roofing on. We'll take a break and we'll be back with more. Please stay.
The four remaining schools, Kumasi, Ho, Takoradi, and Koforidua, entered the kitchen ready to battle it out against each other for the ultimate prize. The first round saw all four teams ballot for sour, sweet, spicy, and savory starters. 15 minutes into the cooking, a twist was introduced, heightening the tension in the kitchen.
Team 1, you are switching with Team 2. Team 2, Team 3, you are switching with Team 4. Is that way, brother? Let's get to it. You have 10 more minutes to finish up with this task.
All four teams were able to impress the judges with their starters, scoring them high points. Halfway into the second round, judges introduced another twist to challenge the contestants. The judges gave snails to each team to incorporate into their main meals.
This is a live snail that you will need to incorporate into the dish that you are making. Let's give each team the snail to work with.
It was a gloomy atmosphere in the kitchen as teams Koforidua and Takoradi said their final goodbyes, earning them the second and third runner-up positions.
The end? But it's not the end because you've come very far. And so we'll see you right after we're done with the last task. And so, Koforidua, you can go back, sit in the audience, and enjoy what's going to happen. Takoradi Technical University, you've done well, but you'll also have to go back and see what the others will do. Thank you so much for coming.
Strongman, other musicians and special guests graced the event to show their support to the finalists. Kumasi and Ho proceeded to the final round. This time, pastry connoisseur and judge Kobe Brown made desserts and tasked them to recreate them within 20 minutes.
What are we making for dessert?
Okay, so we are making a whipped ganache with a tulle biscuit and a dakwa cake. Pastry is very complicated and very technical, so you need to really pay attention to every step. If you miss one step, everything's going to mess up.
A few people from the audience tasted the desserts and gave their scores. After the judges tasted the desserts and collated all the marks, Ho emerged the winner of the competition for the second time, taking away 20,000 Ghana cedis, bragging rights and prizes from sponsors.
For the second time, Ho Technical University wins as Big Chef tertiary champion.
Kumasi also emerged as second runner-up, again taking home 10,000 Ghana cedis and amazing prizes from sponsors.
Welcome back, and this is where we get interactive with you on the issues we've been discussing, from Galamsey to persons with disability and how we treat them ahead of the elections. We'd like to find out from you, what's on your mind? What would you like to share with us this morning? I see a lot of you are talking on social media about Lydia Sarah Malhassan. Well, if you call in and talk about that, be charitable. The number to call 0302 211 691 0302 211 691. But sweetie, do you remember that Shaggy song? It wasn't me. Enyamia. I wasn't the one.
Deny till you die. That's a campaign.
you know, the interesting one is the representative from Lydia Al-Hassan, yesterday.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Vehemently denying something. To the point where Brace had to describe that, the video to him. He said, no, there's nothing like that.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Let's get to our callers. Ibrahim is on the line with us. Welcome to the AM show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, good morning, madam.
Good morning, Ibrahim.
Yeah, I just have a little contribution to add. This year's election, I pray that we should pass it successfully and end it effectively. Any party that comes to power, whether MDC, MPP, PPP, or whatever that we can think of, let's all rally behind it. At the end of it, for the person to form a good government. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Remember, it's just 3 days to go. Don't wear party colors to the polling stations. Don't go and try and play an arbiter when someone is dead. Security forces are ready to handle any issues that come up. Just go, vote. Don't take pictures of your ballot paper. Put it in there quietly and go back home. But if you encounter some persons with disabilities, elderly people, pregnant women especially, or people who are generally ill, do the best you can to aid them to go. Of course, Ghanaians don't like it when you jump a queue, right? But for the sake of those who, need that help, please be kind enough to offer it then.
Yeah, and maybe I might add, don't use sample ballots. And Charlie, on social media yesterday, I saw some interesting stuff, and I just smiled and moved on.
You really can't argue this out, then. He says it's a sample ballot.
But the bottom line is, if it was what you were saying, why did you delete it? You should have left it there. Because he says he will do it again on the 7th. So why did he delete it?
So the sample ballot papers have serial numbers, different serial numbers.
He says they are exactly the same. But if you know the processes, this is what he's saying. So if those are samples, then can we trust the electoral process in terms of what could be in the custody of some of these political parties or members of political parties. But that is the situation on the ground.
We have another caller. Hi, good morning. Welcome to the AM show. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and you can have your say.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Please, my name is Tyro. I'm calling from Tamale.
Go ahead, share your thoughts with us.
Yes, I think we as Ghanaians, we all want peace before, during, and after the election.
Okay, thank you.
But I want to say that the issue about the MP who is said to be sharing food, I don't think anything is wrong with that. It's cooked food. It was cooked food, not raw one. So we cannot say, okay, the security agencies, aren't they human beings? If somebody is compassionate enough to provide food for them, what's wrong with that?
Well, it's a matter of law. You know, the law says we should not treat people at the polling station.
Somebody you are in queue to vote, somebody has given you food to eat.
My brother, are you aware of the law governing elections? Yes. Are you aware of the law? Do you know what it says about those actions that she engaged in together with others?
What I am saying is that, fine, it is not raw food, like as in a bag of rice, oil, and all those things. It is just something cooked for somebody to eat.
You are making the mistake
after voting, they'll go and buy food. So if somebody is kind enough to provide food for them, what's wrong with that?
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for calling and sharing your thoughts. But let's clarify. I think he was trying to distinguish between raw food and masa. It has nothing to do with raw or cooked. Don't go and treat anybody, whether it's an LED TV or sachet water or whatever. It is a don't. It's a no-no. Don't go and do it. Don't come on TV and start talking about it was cooked food. It wasn't raw food. Has nothing to do with the issue.
In fact,
don't treat. And treat here is used in the legal sense. Hello, good morning. We have another caller on the line. Hello.
Good morning, my brother.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Eric. I'm calling from.
Eric from where? Please speak up for us, please.
Eric from 25.
All right, go ahead, Eric.
I want to comment on the program, and the caller who just called and was like, there wasn't any problem with sharing food. And you see, we have come to a community where we are gradually losing our conscience. Our conscience. There is a saying that there is no ignorance with the law. And this is not somebody who is ignorant of the law. This is a member of parliament, a legislative party for that matter, who by means of entering the parliament would have read of the constitution and the laws of this country. And he knows very well of the PNDC law that emphatically states on issues as such. So you can say that this is somebody who is bent. She is bent on creating chaos. And that lady must be brought to the limelight of every time she appears in the scene, her personality is trying to create chaos. And there are agents in this country, and they must put her under control. You can't say that it is a cooked food. Is that food going to satisfy those security men for the rest of their lives? Did they have a fasting that maybe they were at a church meeting and they had a fasting overnight and they didn't eat and they had to eat there at all costs to survive? These are security personnel who are trained to be able to sustain themselves even for days. They can go without food for days. So why should you go there? And she has the effrontery of even hugging some of them. You see, we have to call a spade in this country.
All right.
This country is all we had.
Yeah.
If you have traveled before and you have experienced war as a child, I experienced war I grew somewhere in Nigeria. I experienced war. If you have traveled before and you have ever experienced the outcome of war, you won't sit, you won't sit and be saying what you are saying that is just food. We have only Ghana. This is the only country some of where we have. We don't have anywhere. We don't have even.
I think your point is made. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining.
I've sat in circles.
Conversation.
In fact, where I went to braid my hair, where I sat down and listened to ordinary people. I didn't participate in the conversation, and they were saying emphatically, about me, he doesn't know who he would vote for, but on the day, whoever gives him money is the person who gets his vote. So I asked him, do you know that that's wrong? No one should give you money before you vote. And he says, well, Charlie, we have another caller. Hi, good morning. Tell us your name and have your say. Hello, please turn down the volume on your TV set and listen to us on your phone. Now, tell us your name and have your say.
I think we've lost that caller.
Yeah, but there is another caller on the line. Hi, good morning. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and have your say. Say again.
What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Wanda. I'm calling from Dodowa.
Go ahead.
Okay, so on the issue of the video circulating about Honorable Lydia, you know, I would say it is an act of impunity. She cannot tell anybody that she's not aware of the law. She's very much aware. But because she knows that nothing will happen at the end of the day, and you can't say you are hungry so you can go and steal. The law says don't steal. The law did not say because you are hungry, or if you are hungry, you can go and steal. Don't steal. So if the law says don't give them anything when they are about to vote, or they are in a queue to vote, why will you come and say you are a mother? Why haven't you given them food before they come to join the line to vote? But you wait when they are in the queue, then you say you are giving them food. In any case, did they tell you that they are hungry? Has any of them asked her that they were hungry?
But the service, some of the service people,
they have not eaten before coming there.
Some of the service
to
people
influence the people.
Some of the service people also took the food. So what would you say to that?
Yes, those who have taken the food, they should be called because they are supposed to know better. They are supposed to know better because on the day, on Saturday, since it is against the law, if you see somebody influencing somebody with food or something, or even meat or drink, as a security person, what will you do? Since you have taken it yourself, will you have the moral right to be able to say the person has offended the law?
Okay.
So this thing, the OSC, I don't know, it will not get anywhere. There was a time that an MP gave an envelope to somebody during the by-election. And that matter has been reported to the OSC. Up to now, nobody knows what has happened to that issue. So this thing will not go anywhere. It is an act of impunity. And that is what we are going to see on Saturday.
All right,
that is a recipe for chaos.
Wanda, thank you so much for calling.
Let's not say we're going to see, acts of impunity on that day. Let's hope for the best. But in that instance, he mentions, it's kind of like corruption, right? The one who takes and the one who gives are both complicit. And I found it very disheartening that if they were giving, you as a security official, you were also taking. So it strikes both ways in that scenario.
Yeah, so while we're chastising Lydia Sayama,
we might as well
chastise the security personnel, those who took the food. There is another caller. I like that you're calling in. Good morning. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and share your thoughts with us. Oh, that's not a good sound to hear. Do we still have the caller online with us?
Doesn't appear we do. You can call that number at the bottom of your screen, 0302-211-691, 691. What are your thoughts for us? And in between, we'll try to do some voter education. When you vote, note that you must vote well. If you go this way, it may cross over to the next one. So vote sideways, right? Clean your hand with the tissue before you fold this way, and then you put it in there to avoid your vote not counting, because every ballot counts.
And if you don't, if you can't find your voter ID, you can still go to the polling station to vote, because it's a biometric verification system. So they can still verify your thumbprint, your credentials, and you can still vote. So don't let anything stop you. In a democratic dispensation of this country, this is the part that you play in it. So go out there on Saturday and make sure that your vote matters in this country. Benjamin Akakpo, you know another interesting thing, right? It's not everybody who watches political talk shows like these. And so while we are educating people and we are saying, you know, analyze the issues and compare the manifestos and so on and so forth, there are a huge percentage of Ghanaians who will still vote for T-shirts and
they are not voting on
and
the
money.
issues.
We have another caller on the line. Good morning.
From the Vice President's hometown, actually.
Oh, okay.
Hello, what's your name?
I'm called Joseph Al-Hassan.
Joseph, what are your thoughts for us?
I'm not only thinking about what they are talking about, this thing, the food distribution, the food where the Honorable Minister distributed to the voters. Yes, did you know why it's going on like that? When you look at your constitution, the time 1992 constitution, when they were drawing the constitution, the major people were not there. So it is corrupt. The constitution itself is corrupt. Because if you are making a law and then the lawmakers are not there, how do you make the law?
What?
Because when they were doing it, I could see that the Ghana Bar Association weren't involved. They were not involved. So that is why all this is causing, or is happening, sorry. That's why it's happening too.
All right, thank you for those thoughts. Let me just, I don't want to say correct, but there were, you know, sometimes dust is thrown in the eyes of people and they are told, oh, hairdressers and seamstresses were the ones who put together the Constitution. They were there. But you also had, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Nana S.K.B. Asante, among a lot of legal luminaries, thinkers, people from, what they wanted to do was to have people from all walks of life getting involved in framing the Constitution. And you talk about lawmakers were not there. They were starting a new era. They were now going to have legislators. So please get that right. We have a final caller.
Yes. Good morning. Your final caller. Tell us your name and have your say.
Yeah, my name is Ruben. I'm calling from Ningo Pampram District.
Hi, Ruben. Share your thoughts.
Yeah. Please, I'm concerned about these two political parties, the major parties. That's MPP and NDC. I want to say, if they deny us justice, they shouldn't ask for peace. Because the justice make me equal before the law. And I know peace also make them equal before the law. So they shouldn't deny me the justice, looking for peace from my side. So please, that's what I want to say to the political party.
Thank you so much.
Our votes have to count. They shouldn't steal our vote.
Thank you so much, Ruben. Thank you all so much for calling in. That's all that time will allow us to do. And that's our show for today. I'm Sweetie Abochi.
My name is Benjamin Akakpo, and we leave you in the hands of the Joy News Desk crew. They'll be coming your way shortly. And tomorrow, we'll be back here to do this for God and country. Have a wonderful day.